I'd jump on here real quick and show you my dinner tonight. Good, but I'm burning actually. Had to switch to a silicone device. So don't bust your ears on a metal device. I try to be kind. I know a lot of people wear earbuds. I wear earbuds, so. This is just going to be a quick dinner. This is just some ground turkey meat. Turn that down a little bit. So I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm just making some lettuce wraps real quick with some ground turkey. It's quick and easy and filling and delicious. And I had some leftover zucchini squash, yellow squash, and red onion that I kind of roasted in the oven for dinner Sunday night. I had a lot left over, so I'm going to use that in here as well. So this is a great way also to use up a lot of leftovers. And it's very economical. So see, it took no time. I just dumped the turkey in here right before I went live. And just started stirring it. So that is that. That is done. That part of it is done. Howdy, y'all. Howdy. But I do want to add some flavor to this. And I'm going to add some flavor to this and with some sesame oil. That'll give it that Asian flavor. And I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. Not a whole lot, because Chris likes to put hoisin sauce and sriracha on his. I do a dollop of hoisin and sriracha. Hey, Kropka, how's it going? Hey, Infalove, how are you today? I'm just making lettuce wraps for dinner. It's a quick, easy, and very nutritious meal. Good to see y'all. I moved my trivia to Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock because it's spring, summer time. Hold on just a second. Let me get that sausage. Oh yeah, I almost forgot too. We like these chili crisps. Chili crisp. These are so good. They add a little smoky, crunchy flavor to it. And then, some hoisin. I got some sesame seed, a little soy, and the sriracha. So, let me start with a little bit of oil here. Just a little, because sesame seed oil, you don't need a lot of it. I'm going to put a little bit in this corner over here too, because I'm going to drop some garlic in there right now that I already have cut up. So here's what I have. I have carrot that I need to use, cabbage, garlic, and the leftover zucchini, red onion, and yellow squash. But I want to get that garlic going first. So yeah, I moved it to Wednesday night because, normally I only do trivia during the winter months. But we're really having a good time. So, and we have a lot of people showing up for that. So, I'm going to try to continue that. And then just take breaks here and there when I need to. But yeah, I figured that some people go camping that watch and hiking, so Friendly's ice cream. I don't think we have Friendly's ice cream here. K-cups. Yeah, we just do regular Maxwell House coffee. It's as cheap as the Walmart brand. So how's y'all's day going? You got anything exciting going on this week? I just have trivia. And I'm behind in editing. I took a day off yesterday because my shoulder and hips are killing me. I'm going to add some peanuts too for some extra crunch. I like a crunch. That garlic moving. I'm going to go ahead and put the, I should have already done this. I'm going to go ahead and put the carrots in too. And they may be a little crunchy when we're done here, but I like the peanut. And it adds a little extra protein, a little extra flavor. So yeah, this is one of my favorite summer meals too. Just because it's so easy, it doesn't take up a lot of heat. And I don't feel guilty eating it at all. Hey Millie, how are you doing? Fake stripper police officer. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. We had one at my daughter's her 21st birthday. But a male, not female. And those girls, it was so funny. These are all college girls, right? And they just kind of sat there. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to think. So me and my soy sauce going in. Me and my adopted daughter's mother had to show them how it's done. Isn't it funny how people get so intimidated? Right? I mean, what do you do when you have those really shy boys? I could never strip. I mean, I had, when I was younger, like I had people, there was peanuts going in. When I was younger, I had people, because I was hanging drywall. I was doing construction. And the guys I worked with were like, why don't you just go down to the dang strip club and we'll come over and at lunch and after work and, we'll tip you really well. I was like, nah, I kind of rather hang drywall. Good, no special treatment. Yeah, right? Dang, that's rough. So I'm kind of frying these peanuts a little bit in this oil over here. That I had a little bit of oil that I just put in too. I added some little avocado oil over here. Really brings out the flavor in the peanuts when you toast them a little bit in oil. In fact, the Chinese like the skinned peanuts, and they do that. They put them in a little bit of sesame oil to roast them, and then serve them as a snack. So we need some moisture at this point because we like things moist. So I'm going to put in some cabbage. And since this leftover zucchini and yellow squash was already cooked with the onion there, I'm going to do that last. And because I had so much of that, I didn't put a lot of cabbage in here like I normally do. To be truthful, I didn't feel well yesterday because I haven't been sleeping well because of my pain. So, Chris picked up Chinese food. That's okay. We'll eat it again. We like it. Alright, I'm just going to throw these in because at this point, this can kind of just steam. Steam action going on. I don't know how much I pay for these turkey, like, in the rolls anymore. I think they're under $5. So, I don't know, this meal maybe costs $12 if you exclude the, sauces. Man overboard. Alright, I'll show you how this looks now. And this is, again, this is wrap, so it's going to be wrapped in lettuce, so that'll be some more green anyway. So it's a lot of protein. Like I said, I needed to use the carrots and the other stuff's left over. So it'll be perfect. And actually, that's pretty much it. I'm going to taste the meat. Oh, yeah. That's great. I could probably use some, a little bit of black pepper. Even though I'm going to use, you know, sriracha and the chili crisp that I like. I like pulling it off a little bit early because I don't like everything getting too soggy. You know? I don't like overcooking it. There's enough residual heat there that it's going to keep cooking anyway. Alright. Oops. And then I usually just serve it in one of these big bowls I got from Walmart. They're good for pho. I needed a good pho bowl. So that's it. Dinner in like, how long have we been live? Like not long at all. 13 minutes and 39 seconds. Can you believe that? Crazy. Yeah, Mark. I need to probably go to have my shoulder checked. I think I tore my rotator cuff. Somehow. Or it's just worn out. Because I'm old. Probably from sleeping on it. That's my favorite side to sleep on. Yeah, I had shoulder surgery on the other shoulder years ago because I regrouted a bathroom, and because it was our house was built in 1950, it had the original tiles on it, and I was afraid to use like a Dremel or something to get the grout out, so I did it all with a box cutter, every single tile, and then regrouted it. And then the next day, after I got the grout on, yeah, my shoulder froze up. So, but it was a great doctor. It was simple surgery. He did a great job. So I'll probably go to that same physician for this next shoulder. Whatever's going on. It's about time to also bring in the plants, because I have all my plants getting strong out here. Let's do this, huh? That's my setup. I bring them out every morning. I got these in a cheap makeshift greenhouse, and these as well. And then everything's coming up great. I'm ready to plant. I just need to get some beds built. So these are all going to go into new beds once they're built. I'd be building them if it weren't for my shoulder. And that drives me nuts that, it's time of year when I'm ready to start being more active, and my body says no. No. All right, so, and when I cover this, all that stuff that's stuck to the bottom, all that good meat stuff, it'll come up and help flavor everything as well. So that's it. Yeah. So what do we have? Garlic, carrot, a little bit of cabbage, a little bit of the squashes, the red onion that was in there, the ground turkey meat, and yeah, that was it. Dinner in 13 minutes. So, of course, I did have all that stuff cut up, but that didn't take long. So in less than 30 minutes, you have this inexpensive, hearty meal. And then I'm just using these, I'm kind of cheating, using these leafy lettuce, but they're perfect for this because they're nice and wide, so you can really fill them up quite well and then kind of eat it like a burrito. So, and Chris should be pulling up any minute. I also have to put in my food order this week, but I don't need much, not this week. I still have food from the garden to eat, in the freezer from last year. It's usually milk. Milk is what we need, but I even keep powdered milk for that. Anyway, what's going on? We're doing a camp with my wife's daughter and boyfriend. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh, sweet, Infalove. Hey, Rudy. Fernando, how you doing? Where are you up to today? Yep, 5, 6. Well, you're on Central Time. It is 6:19 here now. But yeah, Fernando, you were in the trivia the other night and then you just disappeared. We missed you. How's your channel going, Fernando? I know you got one channel taken down. Hopefully you've learned from that. I mean, YouTube can be funny with their rules, right? I still want to know Mark's magic and not getting so many copyright strikes that they take them down. I guess because it's live, right, Mark? They just shut you down for so much copyright, but they don't give you a strike? Is that what happens? I don't know. I don't know. But I know what's weird on me is that I had some videos I was going to, is it one video, I think? I was going to take I was just going to delete the video because it was just a short of an Indian wedding and the music playing. And then YouTube won't let me delete the video. I don't get that. So, I don't know. But I do have so much editing to do still for the month of January and February. I haven't even started, I don't think. And then I have a ton of shorts to go through, I think dating back through November, maybe. Because sometimes I'll post shorts and other times I don't. And I'm really bad about organizing it well. So, oh, Chris
Hey
is
there.
listening.
Yeah.
Hey, Bun Bun.
Hey, Bozo.
So,
Beaver.
Chris is home. Yay! You don't mind Asian again tonight, do you? He'll eat it. He'll eat anything. He's just happy to have food in front of him. So, you going camping in your state, Infalove, James? Or are you going elsewhere? You know, a couple places I'd like to go and have not. I've not been to Providence Canyon or Cloudland Canyon here in Georgia. And they both have reasonable hikes. And I think in particular, is it Providence Canyon? Where I think the hike's pretty flat. I don't know about Cloudland. Oh, that's cool. Not in a Walmart parking lot, though. Oh, nice. Hopefully the winds won't be so bad. Today the winds were supposed to be low and then they really, really picked up this evening, this afternoon. So I'm supposed to have a guy coming over tomorrow at 1 o'clock to till up an area where we want to put the garden beds. And it would take us, oh, cool. Very cool. A vet as in a veterinarian or a vet as in military vet? Um, but yeah, this guy's coming because we're like, if we tried to do it by hand, the dirt is so hard, it would take us probably weeks to do it. But if we can get this guy over to just do the tilling, then the leveling will be so much easier. So we're going to have him do that. And then he said he has a small tractor that he can get. Hey, Renee, how's it going, girl? I loved your live today. And then I loved your subsequent one when you were outside. And you said you're breathing in French air, fresh air. What is a pollen count? It's probably like 1100 today. Oh my gosh, I'm coughing like crazy. Oh, cool, James. Thank her for us. Not an easy job. Um, but yeah, I think the pollen is ridiculous. It's crazy. But yeah, every day I'm coughing, coughing, coughing. I should wear a mask when I go out. That would be helpful. Right? That's what happens to me. I'm loving it outside. The weather's great. Short sleeves, flip flops, t shirt, shorts. And then I come in and just hack, hack, hack. And I'm fighting another medical medicine allergy reaction right now. That was the other thing that's been bothering me and why I couldn't sleep. So I took some children's Benadryl last night. I was still up till 4 o'clock. Yeah, right? I told people on my video this weekend, because I went live Sunday, and I was saying how we get like these clouds of pollen from the pines. And I saw one Saturday morning or Sunday morning. It was just so bad. And somebody was saying they had never. Now this person is on a YouTuber, and they like a lot of conspiracies. And they were like, I have never seen pollen laying on top of water. And I'm like, and they live in the South. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me if you have never seen pollen lay on water. Like when it rains, that's the puddles are just oh, this isn't a conspiracy theory, Renee. This is the government is poisoning us with uh contrails thing, which I don't agree with because they'd be poisoning themselves if that was the case. And why would they do that? Just to me, common sense. Common sense. And if you believe in it, we can agree to disagree because I'm like that. Yeah, just but they get followers who believe in them, right? When they were talking about the pollen laying on the they'd never seen pollen laying on top of water before. I'm like, somebody in the comment was like, yeah, just like those contrails. And I was like, oh my gosh. It is crazy. It is crazy. Like it rained the other day. We had pollen puddles everywhere. Yesterday morning, right? I saw them. They're all over my table too, where it evaporated. Yeah. And I'll tell you, Renee, my guilty pleasure is Shane Dawson. Hate me for it or not. But, you know, um, and a lot of his conspiracy theories aren't really conspiracy, right, Renee? But he's funny. He is one YouTuber that makes me laugh out loud. So I do enjoy it. And his sister-in-law, Sandy, is of Mexican heritage, and she's from Georgia. She's from Atlanta. And I forget how they met. I think they met as gamers or something. Something interesting like that. So, have you ever watched Shane, Renee? And his partner, Rylan? Rylan's not as funny, but Shane is hilarious. And his brother is funny too. And now the sister-in-law, Sandy, that's from Atlanta, she's also a school teacher in LA area. Um, she has her own channel now. I mean, because Shane's been doing this, I think he said it'll be his 17-year anniversary doing YouTube because he started as a teen. And just look up Shane too, it'll come up right away. So, did you see what I cooked today, Renee? I had this leftover squash, the zucchini and yellow squash from the other night's dinner, and the red onion in there. And then I just took ground turkey, cabbage, carrots, garlic, little soy, uh, little sesame oil, and did a quick stir fry. And then we'll do that with lettuce wraps. Oh, and peanuts. I put peanuts in here. I love peanuts. So, I like butternut squash. I hope last year wasn't as good of a year for butternut squash for us, but you never know what you're going to get, right? So I'm hoping this year will be a good squash year for us. So I still have that one butternut squash that I haven't done. And that breakfast you made, Renee, looked amazing. Hey, Sam, gloves? No, no gloves. Nobody here has gloves. You're so funny because I know you love gloves. No, no disposable gloves either. No, sorry. I have calluses on my hand. I'm a working woman. I don't have time for gloves. I rake without gloves. But you always come in here and ask, Sam, so. But I appreciate you coming in here and throwing up some comments, you know. But you remember that there used to be a guy, Brock, that had a thing for satin. And he would come into bimbos and my channels and asking if we wore satin. And we're like, we live in the South. Are you kidding? No, we don't wear satin. That stuff is hot. No way. No way. No, but I told you before, I used to collect like antique gloves and hats, and then I quit. Because I'm downsizing. I'm getting older. So, hey, Spicy D, what's up? Spicy D, do you like hot chili flakes? Have you ever tried them, the crispy chili flakes? They're not terribly hot. I'll show them to you. This is the brand we buy. And then you can hear it. It's kind of... And then they're crunchy chili. They're salty, they're smoky. They're really delicious. And you can use the oil from this. It's so amazingly good. But I like the smokiness that the chili crisp has. It just adds a lot. It adds a lot of flavor to anything. It'd be good on steak, vegetables, anything you want. Oh, yeah. I put some on my Vietnamese cucumber salad, and that was really good. Even though it's not traditional. Chris is doing his Mr. Rogers thing and changing clothes, putting on his comfy shoes, his comfy clothes, emptying his pockets of all the heavy keys and stuff. Yeah. So InfoLove, you get tips $1,000 worth. Dang. That's amazing. So what do you do that you get tips? You know, I collect coins because I always call it my vacation money. Chris is one of those who will stand there and make everybody wait in line while he pays exact change. And but I saved my money. I was so ecstatic that now you can go to Coinstar. Is it Coinstar? And you can get Amazon gift certificates with your change with no fee. See, Chris, I would sit there and roll them because Chris didn't want to pay the bank fees or any fees to get to turn in coins. But yeah, once I learned they did that, and they didn't charge you anymore. That was sweet. I think the last time I went, I had over $100 worth. Dang. Dang. That's pretty good for hotel work. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Now we're funny when we stay in hotels. I don't have cleaning service done unless it's going to be super long term. If it's like a 2-week hotel stay, then I'll have them come in the week and do the stuff. But we'll do our own towels with toilet paper, all that. And nowadays at the hotels, they only clean like every other day or sometimes even only upon request. But I've always been that way. Always. So, yeah, I figured too it saves on, keeps them from having to raise the prices if we do that. And it gives people a break. They can go home early and get a break. But, yeah, but that's pretty good. You know, I'm a fan of Marriott. Marriott is my go-to hotel. But I'm thinking about going with, what is it, HGC or whatever. Who is that? You know, they do the Holiday Inn Express and stuff. Thinking about going with them. So, I think we have everything here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want an extra spoon for the chili crisps. Oh, no, that's fine, Renee. Please do. I'm about to sign off anyway because we're going to eat. I was doing that the other day trying to do the seeds. I was like, did I put a seed in that cup or not? So stupid. Because I can't talk and think at the same time. It's amazing I get anything out of my mouth. Oh, gosh. If I take it, you work probably for a resort in Full Love. You can dig in.
Okay.
I'll take it. So here we go. You got your lettuce. We got our, I'm going to do my first one, then I'm going to sign off. All the goodies in there. Yeah, I had everything cut up, but I only had to cut up the carrot and the cabbage and the garlic. And dinner was ready in like under 14 minutes. So easy. The good stuff. Helps to open it.
Yeah.
A little bit of drizzle. A little bit of hoisin. Like I said, I don't do too much of that just because it's full of sugar. Just a couple. Sometimes I'll put it in the mix, in the meat mix and veg mix, just so it's there. Oh, you work at Marriott. Yeah, I love Marriott. I always do a review of the hotel room. You know my beef with Marriott, though? And I say this every video. My big beef with Marriott is the fact that, good thing we got another one. The showers need to be handheld showers. Why? Because a Marriott will normally only have a couple of handicap accessible rooms. Not every, and they've put me in a handicap accessible room, not because I wanted a handheld shower, but because it was available. And I felt guilty about it. But like a lot of people can get by if in a room if they just have a handheld shower who have disabilities. Not everybody needs a wheelchair accessible roll-in shower. So that would be a huge asset. And then the other thing, my other beef is that especially in resort areas, like when we were in Puerto Rico. Oh, we did the I don't know if you saw Infill Love. Marriott has apartments now. Well, they have one apartment. It's in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We stayed there. I have a video on that. And then they're building, my understanding is they're building a second one here in Georgia. But they're apartments by, Marriott. But here we are in San Juan, where like half a block from the beach, there is no place for a woman to rest her foot to be able to shave her leg. So you have to bend all the way over. And I'm 62. That's tough on me. And it's tough on a healthy woman to shave their legs without having a ledge to do so. And you never know what you're going to get a lot of times. Are you going to get, are the photos updated? Are you going to get a tub? Are you going to, where you can put a, where you have a ledge to shave your legs or not? All they need to do is put like a little corner piece in the shower. Like, what, maybe 25 inches up? Put that corner piece in there, silicone it in, and we would have a little, nice little ledge. Yeah. Because it drives me nuts. And you can look, like every video I think I've ever made on Marriott, right? I mention both of those things. And if they have it, I always like commend them for doing a good job on the design. But what got me is we were on, we did a cruise. That's why we're in, we stayed at 2 different Marriotts in San Jose, Puerto Rico. We stayed at one in the Arts District, Miramar. We stayed in the apartment. The one in Miramar had a tub, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So we were good there. But then the cruise ship
It was tight.
had, oh yeah, it's kind of a running joke now in my Marriott reviews, Renee. The other thing was that in the cruise ship, they had a bar. Like that cruise ship bathroom was so well apportioned. They had, and that's the other thing with Marriott. Sometimes the bathrooms, like Chris carries a lot. I don't. He has his shaving cream. He has his razor, his toothbrush, your deodorant.
Mm-hmm.
Hair mousse comb. And I keep my stuff in just like a gallon Ziploc bag. And, but most of the time it's like he has room for all of his stuff. And then I have no room anywhere.
Well, getting there first is the key.
Getting there first is, I wouldn't do that though, because I know you like to splay out.
Mm-hmm.
So
But, no,
I
would adjust either way.
I just consolidate all my stuff because I don't have as much that I need to access every day.
Right.
For me, it's just a comb and my toothbrush.
Yeah, all those items I go through, and getting pretty.
Yeah, you're gorgeous. He's gorgeous. Yeah. So, but if you look at my cruise ship video, I did a tour of the room there. I was real impressed with how well the bathroom was appointed. Because they had a cabinet in the corner. So what Marriott ends up doing, they put art in the bathroom. I'd rather have cabinet space than art in the bathroom. On the really small ones. So like the one in San Jose, it had the tub.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have a handheld, but it had the tub, uh, but it had like no sink ledge, really. And then you had a little um, tiny ledge behind the toilet. And that's not enough room to put anything on without risking it going into the toilet. So it's kind of like a waste of, thing. But, yeah. And then the crazy thing to me is, like, I think the CFO of Marriott is a female. I'm like, has she never stayed in a Marriott? And she controls the money. You'd think she'd find a way to make sure they could afford little tubes of silicone. And
often the bean counters win these sorts of arguments. It's like, well, that adjustable shower head is going to add an extra, $32.
No, but they'll put
a room.
those stupid ring shower heads in. And that's going to be way more expensive than a handheld.
Yeah, the handhelds are just more practical. You get all those cracks and crevices a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'm going to get out. Chris is eating his first one.
Second.
Oh, you're second? You're already? So you're going for your third now?
Yes.
Do you hear Satan over there?
Satan makes a guest appearance from time to time. But, yeah, you gobble this down while it's still warm.
What did I eat today? Nothing. I'm not starving yet.
Yeah, I can't convince Jen to do 3 squares a day. You're not hungry in the morning, so
yeah, that's the thing. Renee always cooks breakfast, so she does these cooking live breakfast videos. Today was like freaking French toast, strawberries, and she always plates everything up beautifully. And yesterday was muffins, and she did biscuit, eggs, bacon. I mean, she goes all out for breakfast for her family. And so, but yeah, sometimes I won't be hungry, and then I see her cooking something. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to eat. I have to eat something. But usually, Renee, when that happens, I'm eating deviled eggs. I'm not big on eggs. Yeah. I mean, I like eggs okay. I like them over easy, but every day, whoa. And then I have to, even if I do them over easy, I have to put them on, like the white part has to be on toast. I have to have some texture there. Or I'm like, whoa. But I can do the deviled eggs. I like those.
Well.
And I'll do those for breakfast. Yes, today she took me I told her I could almost smell Montmartre. Yeah. So, Renee speaks French. You speak French. Y'all need to get together and parlez-vous français.
We could,
because she wants to practice more.
Let's see,
I told her you took it through high school and college.
Yeah.
So you had 6.5 years of French.
Getting all rusty, but
yeah,
I still have enough to get into a restaurant, hotel stuff, I think.
Yeah, but he gets mad at me if we're at an island that speaks French. I'll tell people he speaks French and put him on the spot.
She's like, do the trick.
Do the trick. But I mean, he has the opportunity to practice when he's in these other islands and countries. Obviously in France, he's kind of forced to speak French. But when we go to an island and they speak English and French, I don't like the slime texture at all. But yeah, I did that to him in St. Lucia. I did that to him in St. Martin on the French side. I didn't do it to you in Barbados.
Well, I don't think Well, Barbados and
or Dominica.
Dominique is an English-speaking country. I thought it was a
Well,
French-speaking country.
They're English, but they were French ruled for a while, so they
Mhm.
do have that French
There's a certain sort of French vibe to it, but all
Like
the signs were in English.
patois.
You know,
Yeah.
accented.
When they get together, I'm sure it's a heavy patois. Pimsleur and Kids Show. So you've got to, I did Pimsleur French. I took Spanish I went to the Latin American Association on Buford Highway. I took Spanish 1, Spanish 2 over there, but I lived in Miami before that. So, but that was more of a Cuban Spanish, where there it was more of a Mexican Spanish. But one of our instructors was actually a professor at Emory, where she taught Spanish. And so she taught us, that was in Spanish too, and she taught us both Spanish and Portuguese side by side. So that was pretty cool. And she was a way cooler teacher, which is weird because the Spanish 1 teacher was, she'd spent a lot of time in Mexico. She was younger. So I think she did kind of like the backpacking through Mexico thing and went to a lot of places. And then the professor from Emory, I think she was probably in her 60s. Then she was much older than me. I was in my 40s. Mm-hmm. And she was so cool. Like our class, because we had done 1 and then 2 together, our class, we got kind of close as classmates. And somebody joked one time and they were like, "Can we have a graduation party?" And she's like, "Sure, let's do that." And so everybody bought like Mexican, Tex-Mex, Mexican, whatever food. And she allowed us to bring a bottle of tequila. We were making margaritas. And when the first teacher found out about that, we had dancing and music and everything. And when the first teacher found out about it, she was livid that we had so much fun. Absolutely livid. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Is that with the Latin American Association? And what I liked about the Latin American Association, it was intercambio. So what we would do was like we would get to practice with the Latino students and asking them about their family in Spanish. You know, where do you live? Donde viva? Do you have any brothers and sisters? Your aunt and uncle's names? Which I can only now do. Tia, Tio, Yama. Yama, de Tio, Yama, la, de, e.
God, I'm trying to think how I'd even do that in French. Mon père, ma mère, mon oncle, ma tante, and
a bunch of other words.
I didn't know what brother-in-law, sister-in-law would be.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but so that was cool. And then for them, they would practice their English with us. And we only did those kind of intercambio things like a few times throughout the class, the whole, session. Mm-hmm. But for them, it was more like job interview, job application. So they would have to, we would interview them based on the application that they filled out in English. So it was really cool. So I met a lot of cool people. taking that class, and I loved that. And then also the other thing, we paid for our classes, and they got their classes free. So I thought that was really cool too. But they had so many other services over there. You know, they would provide clothing, food, social services, all kinds of stuff. It was really cool. Speed Spanish. Speed Spanish. Vamos Español.
Isn't that what they speak in the Dominican Republic? Speed Spanish?
Speed Spanish? Perhaps, perhaps. But yeah. I like Clayton State has a cool looking campus. Not too big, not too small. Kind of reminds me of the campus over in Columbus, too. Yeah, at one point we looked at moving to Columbus. I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Hindsight.
yeah.
Hindsight. But the living would have been cheaper for certain. Yeah. Aztec, like old Spanish. Yeah. Yeah. And that's like when I hear Traveling Eddie or Eddie Toro speaking, the Colombian Spanish. It's totally different. And then I was telling him, Eddie and I were talking this week or last week. I think it was this week we were talking. We were talking about foods and stuff being so different. Like a buñuelo in Mexico versus buñuelo in Peru versus a buñuelo in Colombia. They're all totally different. And I had no clue about that. I thought food is food. Like empanadas aren't empanadas. What are they? They're pastillas in Puerto Rico.
Can't remember.
I think they are pastilla. Pastilla de carne. Yeah. But see, that's cool though, because you have somebody to practice your Spanish with. On the regular. Yeah. So your weakness with French is verbs?
Well, I'm okay with the basic conjugations of verbs. And
there he goes, conjugating again. Talking about that conjugating.
I mean, I can usually remember je voudrais for I would like instead of je veux, I want. It's.
Here, I'll let you take the camera.
You need to get a little.
Yeah, I'm going to get a bite or two. Well, you speak French or talk French with Renee.
It's just a matter of putting some phrases together and, being in a situation where you need to order something or respond to somebody, and then that's where the physical doing of it is the crucial thing. You have to stumble your way through and get the words out and get better and better at it. You can't just read about it. You gotta form the sounds. And for English speakers, the hardest vowel sounds to make are U and on, because those sounds don't exist in English. So we mispronounce those words that have those vowel sounds. For the French, they struggle with the TH, the, this, that, these, those. That's why they kind of say it more like these, that, these, those, because the TH, putting their tongue on the tip of their bottom or top front teeth and making a sound is just kind of alien for them. But it's interesting. I mean, it's just a little. Also, in France, orthography is really a big deal. There would be, I don't know if they're still on the TV now, but in years past, people would have competitions on who could write the word words correctly with all the accent aigus and accent graves and circumflex and all these little extra squiggles that you have to put in there.
That was a French competition on TV.
Oh yeah, that was a show. I mean, yeah, there were orthography competition shows, and then people would write, and then people would see who, you know, who could render different expressions correctly by hand.
Oh, so they can't even speak their own language or write their own language because it's so complicated.
Well, but then it's like, okay,
that's funny.
Is this contestant going to remember the circumflex in this letter, or you know? So it's funny. They take a great deal of pride in their language, and yeah, and then I find most French people. I mean, even if you make a bad attempt, I mean, if it's an earnest one, if it's an earnest attempt, they're usually kind of flattered.
No, I think anyone is like that. Any country is like that. If you attempt to speak their language, they love it.
Well, I think America's a little less tolerant of people who don't have less than a basic facility in English.
Well, because we're jerks.
Well, we run. Some of us are total jerks, and some of us are completely understanding, and then it's like a bell curve. But
no, I'm sure other countries there's a mix, but yeah.
What's interesting, I think Americans view. It's like the schizophrenic thing. I mean, there are those that are completely xenophobic, nativist, and don't want anybody to come in. But then there are others that really appreciate what they contribute.
There were over 300, close to 400 languages spoken here before the Europeans came here.
All the Indian languages.
Well, and the Spanish. Right?
Yeah.
And then Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
They speak Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
so. America is not an English-speaking country by any means.
I think the naturalized citizens, though, they're the real Americans because they had to go through hell to get here and to wait for years and years. And so I think, all I had to do was just be born here.
I couldn't imagine leaving my family and everything I knew and grew up with and was familiar and comfortable with behind to try and make a fresh go of it somewhere else.
And the people that come here, I mean, they're by definition they're ambitious. I mean, they want to create a better life. They're hungry. They want to get it. So, I'm thinking we need more folks like that can come in and contribute and hustle. So a lot of our economy is dependent on it. I mean, we have 12 million, give or take, undocumented persons.
Kicking butt every day. Kicking butt.
Not many folks can. The number of Masons would decline precipitously if all the undocumented workers were pushed out. So.
My favorite's watching the guys do the brickwork and putting the bricks up on the scaffold and how they do that. It's so rhythmic and they're so freaking fast and accurate, and it's
harder than it looks, but yeah,
amazing.
The ones that have that skill and they can just knock them out. It's amazing. It's impressive.
Yeah, wouldn't be me. Because I watched these guys hanging drywall the other day, and they were so fast. Like, one was finishing screwing in, the other was measuring, and then getting the drywall, and he'd be ready, throwing it up on the wall.
Yeah, it's just
it was crazy.
The repetition, and they just.
I never worked that fast when I was hanging drywall. At all. No way. Because that's a crazy pace to keep up. The pace they were doing for 8 hours a day. Insane work.
Oh yeah. It's
insane. So yeah, Renee, I appreciate your husband. And the team they do.
Well, and I admire. I mean, I fix
construction is not easy. That's like Mark Kropka. He worked construction.
I mean, I fix computers. I got my computer technician hands here, but No, this construction building, it's kind of old school man's man sort of, you know.
Mans.
Yeah, I mean, culturally, the but yeah, I mean, it's sort of appreciated that way in the culture. But no,
I've worked
it's
two
cool.
construction jobs, dude.
Yep, not me.
I've always done manly work. No, not always, but I've done a lot of manly work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Renee says, "I'm scared watching my husband on the stilts hanging drywall."
right?
Oh yeah, you could take a tumble.
Oh yeah, I never did stilts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used a sawhorse,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just straddle. I'd stand on the bars of the sawhorse.
I wouldn't dare put myself on a roof at my age. And if I go up a ladder, it's like one limb at a time. You know, I'd pay attention to that because it's just easy to take a tumble.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So Renee, I found a guy who does tilling.
I'll have to do a review when
He does small plot tilling, like with a regular hand tiller.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also has he said a small tractor he can get into small places
Mm-hmm.
that he tills with.
Mm-hmm.
So he's supposed to be coming out tomorrow with a small handheld tiller because we have to level out that new area of the garden to lay the landscape fabric on so we can build our raised garden beds and get the dirt in them.
Mm-hmm.
But get this, Renee. He's like 77 years old. I kind of feel guilty. Isn't that how old he said he was?
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
crazy. I can't wait to meet this guy. He says he has 55 acres.
Yeah.
And I talked to him Sunday. He said, yeah, Sunday's for me and the Lord. I walk around my 55 acres and I pick up sticks.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's so admirable.
Yeah. Well, there's something to that life. I mean, the, our 90-something-year-old neighbor, we haven't seen him in quite a while, but he was, lived, many a year, and I guess he attributed his gardening to his longevity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew I'd get a stain on my shirt. That's the only downfall to these wraps.
I always get a chuckle when we get these flyers. I think, okay, maybe this time will be the one time I see something truly inspiring and interesting.
No.
It never happens.
Never.
But
is that Ollie's? No.
This is Ollie's. I kind of liked it because it's just so much kitschy crap.
I guess they're good for rugs sometimes, or I've only been in one once. They're pretty big.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a Big Lots, right? I mean, are they really any different from Big Lots?
Yeah, they're huge.
Mm-hmm.
They're way bigger. I think they may be double, triple, quadruple the size of Big Lots generally.
They have a 10-piece non-stick cookware set for $49.99. I know you never do the non-stick.
I would never
stuff.
use non-stick.
They have a Mr. Coffee stainless steel kettle. Nobody ever uses those. If they do, they might use them if they're making tea.
As a replacement, maybe? Oh, it's
no, it's an actual standing.
It's a plug-in. Those are popular now.
Oh, really? I'll zoom in and out.
Because they boil water quickly.
See if the camera can recover.
Because they boil water quickly. Some people even use them when they're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to boil pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they heat up faster than pasta water generally.
Oh, okay. I just like the regular drip coffee makers for coffee. Simple.
Yep. Cheap.
Yep.
Cheap Maxwell House.
Oh,
33 cents an ounce.
yarn buyout. A choice of assortments for $5 each for 10.5 ounces of yarn.
Really? I
That's
need
not
to
that's
talk
not
to
so
you
bad
about
for
that.
somebody. Well, because was it Michael's or what's that chain?
Joann's
that's
it's
Joann's
closing.
closing down.
No, she did a video last night that
Which this is probably showing up backwards, but anyway.
yeah, she's not on, but she did a video last night that there were some kind of yarn thing that she bought, and I think she got them on sale for $3.99 right before the bankruptcy final like court date. And then then the court date was final. They had their buyer. They took over immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jacked up all the prices.
Wow.
She went, and they're supposed to be having like a 25% off sale. And she went over there yesterday. So she got this thing for $3.99. And she went over there yesterday, and they wanted $7.99 at 25% and 25% off of that on something that she bought for $4.99 or $3.99 or $4.03.
Yeah.
So they're doubling the price on everything and then marking it as 25% off.
Yeah. Well,
I told her, I'm like, they're going to make their money first on that buyout before, you know.
They might be being bought. They're probably being bought out by a private equity firm, and they have a tenant.
That's a liquidation firm.
Mm-hmm.
The name of it is out there.
Okay.
Yeah. There was one YouTuber who actually went to the court hearing and was able to speak with the attorney and everything on this.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because so it's a huge deal. And why is it a huge deal? Because a lot of people, well, YouTubers,
do crafting,
Etsy people, they depend on Joann's for their materials. You know, because it's someplace they can go in and touch and feel, and you know, they don't like buying online because they want to put out quality product. So they're totally like,
I think there'll always
screwed.
be a place for retail. I mean, it just the
I think Michael's and Walmart are going to end up taking up the slack on that. I think is where it's going to end up going. Michael's already does some of that, but I've heard some people say they don't like Michael's at all. I think Q's one of them. So, but yeah. So, I don't know. So let that be a lesson. If somebody says they're going out of business, these liquidators are jacking up the prices and then telling you that they're on sale when they're not really on sale. So that's crazy. So the time to go to Joann's was right before the court date, which was only like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. If that. Yeah. So one of the YouTubers that was there, she was asking the attorney, she's like, I don't think you fought very hard for them. What's there to fight? They don't want it anymore. They're losing money. And this other company wants them. So
right. I mean, and it's I guess the creditors, the creditors have the say, or the biggest part of what happens when a company goes bankrupt. And
I don't know what happens with the lease though.
Right.
I guess the Joann's has to continue because they're the ones that have the name on the lease.
Right, but if they go out of business, they can just stiff them. Just say, hey, we're out of business. We're not going to pay anything.
You have to look at the bankruptcy. Bankruptcy for normal people, personal bankruptcy didn't work that way.
No.
Usually you have to put something towards your debt. You know.
But yeah, I don't know anything about
But they're
commercial.
commercial. They're a corporation. They probably get out of it.
Well, I mean, they're probably an LLC or a corporate entity, and so they do have limits to their liability. And if they physically move out and they say, "All right, sue us," the line starts on the right, then it's probably in the real estate owner's life, the self interest to kind of cut some sort of deal, because you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. So, but I don't know. The lawyers make money. That's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
If there's human suffering on two sides of an equation, attorneys on both sides can make that money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but unfortunately, the thing is the alternative would be groups of people shooting at each other to resolve the conflict, which would be immeasurably worse.
So this is interesting. Speaking of shooting each other,
that's a nice segue, eh?
Yeah, there's actually I'm a nerd like Renee.
Mm-hmm.
In Google Books, there is a book that's not copyright, so you can read it, from the 1800s, written about the history of duels in Georgia.
Yeah, glad they got rid of that. Yeah, nuts. Although people were quite a bit more civil to one another when, if there was a fear that a pistol fight would.
No, a lot broke out in Savannah.
Yeah.
And this guy was infamous for, having duels with people. Yeah. Of course, that didn't work out too well for Burr. President Burr, right?
No. He was Aaron Burr. He wasn't president yet.
Oh, he went.
No, I don't know if he would have become president. But Renee says lawyers make so much. They can and they do. Renee would like to read that book. Do you remember the title?
Oh. No, but
Let's see if I can.
I think if you just Google books, Georgia, do a Google search, put Georgia duel, and then enter, and then go up to the book tab, or go to the book tab, then do that. Either way. And then they have you can filter out books before 1900.
Oh, Savannah Duels and Duelists by Thomas Gamble.
What year? Sounds right.
Let's see. 1877. It was published. The date it was published in 1823.
Yeah, that's it.
So.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
once again, backwards text.
I am such a nerd, Renee, that this is what I do late at night. I'll read Google books that are out of copyright from the 1800s. And so, Grow Joyfully, she had asked, on one of her tomato videos, I think one she was in the greenhouse last week. And she said, "Oh, I wish I knew how, people cultivated tomatoes and everything back in the day." And I was like, "Oh, well, I read these too." So you might like The Cultivator, The Ohio Cultivator, and The Country Gentleman, or Gentleman's Magazine. It's one of the two, but it's all about cultivation, canning, preserving, recipes. Sometimes there's some poetry in there. I think the Ohio Cultivator has more of a variety of stuff that they cover in their magazines from back then. But what's interesting too is they allowed women to write articles in the magazines. A lot of these women were feminists, suffragettes, temperance, abolitionist leaders. and writers. They wrote books, and they also got to write for some of these uh, early kind of farmer magazines. So I read a lot of those. Just curiosity how things were done back then and everything. I don't know, but I'm thinking of those women who were like that were probably had a Quaker background because the Quakers, even when they came here in the 1600s, especially, yeah, they kind of got banned from, ousted out of Massachusetts. So that's when they went up to, uh, made their own colony up in Rhode Island at, hey, Simple Life, how are you? We're talking some history. So the Quakers, once they got booted out of Massachusetts, they went up to Providence. They created Providence Plantation, which is Rhode Island, Connecticut now, and they actually bought the land from the Indians up there, and that's how Providence Plantation began. And it was all Quaker, and so the Quakers, they didn't believe in slavery, they didn't believe in war. Um, they were always pacifist and anti-slavery, and so a lot of those people then come after. Well, even I guess the end of the American Revolution in the 1780s, then they went over to. That's when they started migrating to like Ohio and everything, and so like the Ohio Cultivator having a lot of female writers. That's kind of they migrated. Had a Quaker background. But that was also the time, the 1780s, 1830s, 40s, even. That's when you started getting the snake oil, the um, all these branched off religions, the New Baptists, the um, I think they had even the Quaker had a second sect, and then some of the Quakers broke off and had their thing. Then you had Mormons forming, and Seventh Day Adventists formed at that time, um, with Ellen G. White and her stuff. So it's just an interesting time in history. Oh, you had water cures, um, in addition to the snake oil stuff. That was a crazy time. In I guess philosophy, religion, science, um, and that kind of thing. Well, you know what will cure that headache is snuggling up to that kitty. What is your cat's name, by the way? I don't know that I've ever asked or that you've ever told. Uh, Are y'all getting hit hard with pollen down there? I'm sure you are, Simple Life. Here we got the yellow clouds going. Renee and I both have been, oh, Sebastian. I love that name. Oh, what a great name for a cat. Did you get it from any particular TV show, movie, cat cartoon that I've never watched? Oh, Renee, another thing you'll like, and I don't know if I've told you this before, with your Spanish, you would really appreciate this show from the 80s called Que Pasa USA. It was filmed in Miami, and it starred the guy who played the best friend of Al Pacino in Scarface, Bauer. As a teenager, he acted in Que Pasa USA, and you can check that out on YouTube. Lead singer of Skid Row. Okay. Yeah, his last name escapes me. Or is that his first name? I don't know. But it's not on trivia tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow is trivia. We're moving. Renee knows. Um, oh, yeah, Sebastian Bach. Thank you. Um, but tomorrow's trivia, I'm going to do, because I don't think we discussed what we were going to do last week, but I'm mixing 60s, 70s, 80s music. So this coming week's going to be a mix, and it's tomorrow, 8 o'clock. I've never seen the Never Ending Story. That's the one with the big dog flying thing, if I remember correctly, from the 80s, maybe. Yeah, I've never seen it either. But it's an old movie. I know that. I think Spartan Dan said today is Tolkien Day, Lord of the Rings. Oh, okay. What kind of dog was that? Is it supposed to be like a Pyrenees or something? We have a parents, well, not in our neighborhood, but across the highway and down the road a bit. You know how it is in the South. Down near Mom and Am's, there are two dogs. It's a Rottweiler and a Pyrenees that are running wild and attacking other animals. And it's happened twice now. And nobody knows where these dogs are coming from. A lot of people now are just dumping animals because they can't afford them and they have to move somewhere that's more affordable and downsize or move cross country. So they're just dumping their dogs now. It's sad. And then all of the shelters are filled up. I think I read on the news one of the shelters is waiving adoption fees because they're full. I wish I could have animals again. My age, I'm afraid to. I know, right? And that's the thing, Simple Life, because any animal I would get would be a rescue, number one. And then at my age, any rescue I got would probably outlive me. And they're expensive. So they're expensive. They'd probably outlive me and then have to be rehomed by someone, whoever. And I don't know. That'd be tough on the dog, man, or a cat, whatever. But I've always only had rescues, right? Simple Life. I'm the same. I am the same. But yeah, and they become a fall risk too. Because they're their buddies. They want to get under your foot. Like even cats, right? You got to feed them, they're all around your legs. And it becomes a fall risk. So at my age, it's not something I want to chance. The fall risk, the whole rehoming thing, all the vet bills. Because our dog and our cats had yearly, if not twice a year, checkups at the vets, plus anything else we had to do. So, so we always made sure they got the best of care. But yeah, Renee, Que Pasa USA is pretty funny because it's kind of Spanglish. And so you have the uh, you have the grandparents who don't speak any English. You have the parents that speak both, and then the kids, the new generation that are primarily English speakers. And it was two teenage kids. Funny, funny. I love that. When I lived in Miami, I was watching it all the time. And I learned a lot of Spanish from Que Pasa USA. Tonight, Jennifer, we had, so the other night I made steak and I did roasted potatoes because I just wanted to do one sheet pan. So I did steak on the grill and then we did a sheet pan of potatoes and then I put some yellow squash and zucchini on it with some red onion and just a really simple like salt, light, very light salt seasoning and pepper. But I had a bunch of squash. I know I do. I'm sorry, Simple Life. I do all the time. I don't know why. I apologize for that. I do apologize for that. But when I say that one time with Faye and Rita, it was Frida or I don't know. I think it was Frida that I said. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so I had all this leftover squash and onion. So I just took a roll of, that ground frozen turkey. I buy those rolls. And even using this one, I still have 4 or 5 in my freezer. But I just took that, threw it in a pan, cut up a little bit of cabbage, garlic, and some carrots that I needed to use. And sauteed that and some peanuts and a little bit of sesame seed oil, sprinkle of soy sauce, and then we did wraps with it. I had this lettuce leaf, big leaves, and then see you later, Renee. Love you, girl. Take it easy. I do too. Simple Life. But we just do these. I take that filling and we put it in the leaves and kind of eat it like a taco. And we add sriracha on it and some hoisin on it. And then we got addicted to these spicy chili crisps. And these things are amazing because they're kind of salty and smoky if you've never had them, and they're not terribly spicy. But they give an amazing, amazing flavor to anything. I would eat this on steak. I would eat it on vegetables, even if I wasn't eating an Asian meal, because they're not really Asian tasting, because they don't have the sesame oil in them. So, yeah, they just kind of have their own kind of unique flavor. And they are crispy. They add a little texture. So, yeah, I really, really like these. Really do. But this is the second jar we've ever bought, I think. But generally, if we're eating an Asian dish, this is going in it. So I like this, and sometimes I'll just eat it this plain. Throw some of the sauce on it. That's how I finish my dinner. I usually put more cabbage in it, but since I had all the leftover squash stuff. And it was a good thing. It was a good use of that leftover squash. Oh yeah, I'm glad you caught me too. Simple Life. All right, you have a good one. I'm about to close out here anyway. Dinner's over. I got to get my plants in because they're outside. They've kind of acclimated. So get these tomatoes and peppers in and call it a night. All right. Love y'all. I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good one. Let me know what you figured out for dinner. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Bye.